In life, we have moments of time to share with others about our life, about our faith, about our business, about our practices, about our social networks, about our resources, really about anything that we choose to trust another human being with. When we have people in our communities that aren't trustworthy with our information, we still feel that we should have trust anyway. In life, we have moments of time to make a difference for someone. We are either making a positive difference for that person or making a negative impact on their life. You see, a positive impact is one that raises a person up, helps them to achieve something beyond their struggles, and allows them to get further on in life. A negative impact on someone's life, of course, takes away from them, depletes their resources, makes them humiliated in some way, or literally defines who they might become because they get so openly invested in trying to get around the negativity that people put on their lives. In this moment of time, I'm struggling to make connections because, well, we have a health crisis going on in the state, allegedly. And openly, most of the stores in which I normally make my networking connections for my own betterment, for my own social outlook, my own business prowess, are closed. I can only play into some stores every once in a while based on who is on duty for that organization. You see, every employee represents a legal component of a company, and sometimes our employees forget who they work for. They often feel that they have freedom to reign in a way they choose, which means that some policies on the simplest of things can get manipulated and can become a lie to the consumer. In one case, I went to a store to get water, about the fourth time to get a hot cup of water. The first two times, the loving men behind the counters, two different fellows, decided that the hot cup of water to a homeless person was a reasonable investment for that company to make, and they did not charge me a thing for it. They understood I was trying to produce some food for myself, and they even plied me with a little bit of things that are kept for the employees, which also was loving and kind. In the third visit, a person behind the counter charged me, a gentleman, charged me for the cup, which was sort of like being charged for a cup of ice. And I thought that was totally reasonable. Thankfully, I had the pocket change, and I appreciated having a good quality cup of hot water. This fourth time today, I made the trip all the way down to that store because I knew they had hot water and I knew I could afford it based on the fact that I've made very little sales in the last week thanks to the epidemic, or alleged epidemic, that's being touted and promoted by everyone all over the town. But openly, when you live in the fresh air, you're less likely to get sick. But that's just a minor point of common sense in illness prevention. But my point is that when I got there, the woman behind the counter named Heather, along with the Hispanic manager, who I don't recall her names from previous visits, in the morning, literally told me that that cup of hot water was going to cost me $1.19 or something like this. Something over $1 for that cup of hot water. And I had to sit there and think, what has happened here? We had people who were willing to charge me something reasonable, which is most places are willing to charge, or provided for free because they knew at some point I would be back on my feet and I'd be shopping there regularly. But this particular woman made it like the gas crisis of long ago, that when the gas crisis hit, some stations actually ended up being closed because they tried to up the price of gas to take advantage financially of the downturn of gasoline. And that's sort of what it felt like. I realize that water has a cost. I realize it has a filtration cost. It has a delivery cost. And the cup certainly has a 3 to 4 cent cost, probably, based on the volume of cups that a company orders. But what I really am bothered by is the inconsistency of the pricing of the situation. Because I literally came back for a fourth time, for the first time of going to a company, but the fourth time to literally revisit something I had done before with success. And then there was an impediment put on me by two women that have no rights to my life, no rights to anything that I've done there, but openly did not want to ply me with the same deals that I got before. There's a bit of a risk to that. I realize there are some deals that are once in a while type things, and that most people can pick up on the social nuance of what that is. So we don't try to push our boundaries with that. But when it's something as simple as a cup of water that probably costs 3 to 4 cents in total to fill a cup, and then maybe another 10 cents or more for a cup itself, a styrofoam cup to keep the water hot, I really find it sort of ideal that we must think about how to train our employees to problem solve for the good of people instead of problem solving for the detriment of their own lives. In moments of time, we have life to live. We have people to serve, and we have friendships to forge. It is our career connections that produce for us a life and retirement. And when we lose those things, we can lose a lot in the way that we live. In this moment of time, I'm talking about something real. I'm talking about something honorable. And I'm talking about how politicians need to focus their efforts on what's real to people in the world. Providing themselves and providing ourselves a living is the most real topic for most people in the land. The more we get focused on solving this problem, where everybody's in a position that they long for, everyone's in a position that they like, and everyone's in a position where they're respected by other people, is probably one of the most important, changing, and earth-shattering conversations of our time. In the Lord's name we go, and in Jesus' name I depart. Thank you for listening to this little political idea about life of a homeless man and what it could be like versus what it is often like. You see, loving and kind people do loving and kind things. Miserly people do miserly things, but either way, those attitudes get hit on us into our public brands, and that's something we have to be very careful about. Thanks for listening.